All right, guys, welcome back to Walden's World. So, I tell you right now, I tried to put that 72-inch deck underneath that Zd331. Apparently, the front ends are different, so you cannot. I can put a smaller deck under the bigger mower, but you can't put the bigger one because your front tire is going to hit. These ones are a little bit further out. I thought I was going to be smart. You can see the front right here. It's actually extended a little bit further. So, not gonna work. Got to pull that one back underneath the other one and get it running. On these, they're telling me they're having to do a couple of paths in order to get a nice cut. So obviously that center piece has come apart. This is on the 60-inch. So I'll leave parts and numbers in the description, and Kubota USA has all the parts. But when I was looking, I noticed that these have some play too. So when you're going real fast, that's gonna wiggle and it's gonna cause an uneven cut too. So we're gonna rebuild the bearings in these also. So I think I can just pull these out and then I can pull this out in the shop. It's supposed to rain here today. These are 3/4 inch. So we'll pull all these off. There's a washer and a lock washer underneath these, so don't lose them. All right, guys, so on these I couldn't find my puller, so I just put the nut on the end of the shaft and had it over there. I used a rubber mallet, and make sure you have your nut on there, and that way it'll keep your threads straight. You don't want to tear up your threads. And had all my bolts off, of course, and just papped it. She came loose. Don't lose your key, very important. One stuck to my shaft on the other one, and this one stuck on the pulley, so do not lose those. We're going to take these down the shop and start building them, tear them apart. All right, got them all out. Let's go rebuild them. All right, so we got an uneven grass mowing situation, and if you can see, I can move that shaft. So what has happened is your pulley goes around here, and it'll actually bend your shaft this way, which makes your blade not be even anymore. As it pulls that pulley, it'll kick your blade like that, and then you won't get an even mow. You're going to have one side higher than the other. So a lot of times that's what that's going to be, is your spindle bearing is going out. And so we're going to replace them. We got new bearings here, and I've already got one pull apart. I've got one of these shafts in the freezer shrinking up, and that way the bearings are a lot easier to put on. But let's go through the process on how to take this apart. First thing we need to do is we got to get our seal out of here. We got some debris hanging out there. We need to get our snap ring pliers and pull that first clip out. So let's do that right quick. So I'm going to stop this video and probably use a screwdriver or something else. Alright, so we popped the top seal out, and we have got a C-clip on this side also. I'm going to press this out so I'll make sure it has the right nut. And there's a C-clip in there we need to get out, just like on the bottom. Alright, by the grace of everything holy, I got that clip out. So I got my seals going that way from one side, going that way from the other. Got no keyway in this, so we are ready to press this out. Now, if you notice on this one, there's a lip there. So this one bearing has to come out this way, the other one goes out the other way. We're going to put this nut on here, and we're going to press this. Now, if you had a heat gun and you wanted to, you could heat up the deal and then press it on out. So we'll go ahead and start working on that. All right. Now the thing about this is I don't have anything to catch that, so I'm going to have to abandon filming this because we don't want it to drop and hit the ground. I guess if you're doing this by yourself, you could put a washer on there and that'd keep it from hitting the ground. All right, so I just used the socket. I ended up having to pull the nut off just a little bit to get it all the way the rest of the way out. So she's loose now. and we'll pull her on out. Then we're gonna find something, and you wanna find something the outer diameter of your bearing to press it out. So we'll see what we can find. All right, there's our shaft. Had a good amount of grease on there. Okay, so now we flipped our shaft over, and we'll go ahead and press that bearing on out. Okay, until I find proper necessities and tools, we put an adapter through there, and that should do it. I mean, come on, guys. For real. We gotta do what we gotta do. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Okay, I don't want my shaft to drop, so we got a band and ship on this, and I can only do it one-handed. All right, so we used a punch and hit the OD on that, get that out. There's a wall in there, so you can't actually get anything and hit the outer side of the bearing to get to it. So we got her on out. Hey, when you was cleaning up, did you see a shaft that looked like this one here? It has disappeared. Pretty sure it's sitting right here. Let me know. All right, so I'm pulling one shaft out of the freezer. And we put our nut on there so we don't swell our threads out, because that's a smart thing to do. And we're gonna go ahead and press her on down in here. All right. And you can heat your bearing up too. Now on this, I'm gonna leave the shield on the outside, and I pulled the inner part out. Don't do it too tight, because if, like me, I'm on my OD and my bearing, you don't want to tear your bearing up. And the shield on the outside will help keep all the grease and stuff in. So, just like on this one here, we're gonna leave that shield on. All right, we got our two shafts prepped. We're gonna clean that one off, make sure we ain't got no foreign debris, and we'll start putting her back together. Yeah. All right, so I got me a socket the size of my OD here, and I should be able to just press her on down. That way you don't tear up your bearing. And she's in. That's a little sketchy that it popped in like that. All right, so we got two grooves in there. This one I actually noticed I don't have down set far enough, so we're gonna go back and put our C-clip in there. One goes on this side, and then we'll get our bearing in there, and one goes on the other side, and then our seals are in there. This was the side of the bearing. All right, we're gonna press that bearing in. So I've got a socket that'll catch the OD, which is outer diameter of the bearing. And we'll just take our time and drop her on down in there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and reuse these seals, and that's because we have the sealed bearings in there. I got both of these rebuilt, and so put the old seals back in. We're gonna use them, because that shield on there is going to do a really good job on keeping all the grease in. And make sure I got the shield on either side. All right, so look forward to seeing this. We'll get this back together. We got the parts for that. It should be here tomorrow, so we'll rebuild that, and hopefully we'll have a mower going. All right, so we're gonna work on our center hub, and then we have one seal we got to put in here, and that is 5761. It's a seal that goes over here that will seal up on this shaft. So we're going to put that in. I've got a socket here that'll cover the outer diameter of the seal, and that way we don't ruin it. All right, so we're gonna start working on this. We've got our parts here. Got a really small diagram. We'll have a better one online that you can look from. So there's a bearing in there. There's a little shim that goes after that. Make sure you get that in there so it keeps it from rubbing. And then our C-clip goes in, and then the seal. All right, so so we've got our clip in there. We'll find out what seal goes in there and get that done. Okay, so we've got our seal in there. And I believe that was this one right here. And this is going in the top. And before that, we've got a spacer in there. And ironically, I guess it just rides on there, which is really goofy to me. But whatever. So we'll drop that down in there. I don't know. And then we'll put the seal down in there. Just seems strange to me. Seems like there should be another bearing in there. All right, so I'm pretty sure before I put these in, these got to be mounted because they go from underneath and those go from the top. All of them. So let's go up there and start working on that. We'll get them mounted up, get some blades on there. How about that? When you put your stuff back in, know your Zerk fitting goes in those holes there and you shouldn't have any problems. So we've got 2 on there already and just about got it ready to go. All the blades are on and secured. All right, we're working on getting the gearbox back in. So I've got my belt routed and that one's got a woodruff key there. So make sure that goes on the bottom, that goes around your seal right there. That's your top. And hopefully we can just wheeze this on over the woodruff key and it'll go right on. That's what I'm really hoping. All right, she's back together. Tomorrow I'm gonna do my Zerk grease gun, and then I've got to fill that up with some type of oil or something. So I'll need to look up a little 411 on that and find out for sure what I need to do. But that's it, guys. We'll put it back up underneath this little gem here, and we'll pull that one out. We got to fix the oil leak in that one, and I figured out, whoever been working on these are supposed to be pulled out, because that's why I can't apparently jack it up. And I think those are supposed to ride down these holes. So apparently these things have been free floating